Well, hi, and thanks for joining me here in my shop on Groundhog Day. And February 2nd is the date. So, as you're going to see next, at the end of the last video, while I was working on this radio yesterday, I discovered a big yellow capacitor which I had somehow managed to ignore the whole time I was working on this radio. Here it is here. And so this part of the video is about me just replacing this guy with this replacement, as you'll see, and then on my way to packing this guy up, putting its case back on, all that kind of stuff, and we're done. So now so I'm going to get on with this. So you watch me discover it, and then I'll get back to today. So from here we're going back 24 hours. Hold on tight. Well, I was just putting the radio back in the cabinet when I got slapped in the face by this big yellow capacitor that has been out of my sight almost the whole time I've been working on this radio. And boy, it's not out of my sight now. Look at the size of that great big electrolytic capacitor. And here is the size. It's an 80. Oh my gosh, an 80. What is an 80 doing in there? I think you can probably guess if you know about these things. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're down here in the power supply area. There it is, Mr. C59 80 microfarads. So I got to change this out for sure. It's taken the full brunt of the voltage coming out of this guy. What's it rated? 360. That's what it's supposed to carry. So I've got a 400 volt. 100 microfarad capacitor I want to stick in there. Extra 20 microfarads. Boy, and I thought I was going to be stopping for lunch. Now, should I leave this guy right up on top? I could fit him underneath. Why wouldn't I leave him up on top? Because I don't know how to stabilize it. Oh, I can figure something out. Yeah, let's leave him up on top. First, this guy's got to come out of here. I won't even bother attempting to test it or anything while it's in there. It's coming out. Coming out. You're coming out. I'll test them after the fact. This will be one of the biggest capacitors I've ever dealt with. Get my camera out of here. So as usual, I had this case pretty much ready for the screws to go in when I realized, oh, I hadn't put this plate on. So I take it all apart, put the plate on. When I did that, that's when I realized I kind of overlooked this guy here. Sometimes these are easy to get out, sometimes they're not. No. Come on out. There he goes. That's a big whopper. Made in the USA. Big whopper. So I will put this guy in now. There must be a better ground terminal nearby somewhere. Maybe I'm going to stick them underneath in the end. Okay, I got two capacitors to test. Let's check them out. That's 2 electrolytic. Electrolytics are a little bit leaky. 25 volts. 150. This is the 350 capacitor. Looks like I took out a pretty good capacitor. Let's give it a minute here. Discharge. Now someone sent me an email, just mentioned another capacitor test that they used to use in the old days where you charge a capacitor up. and then wait a while, and then check it for voltage. Maybe a big capacitor you could do that with. And of course, if the voltage has bled down, you'd assume there's an internal leak. Just another approach to it. Okay, let's try to measure this one. This is supposed to be a 4. 4 would be in here somewhere. Okay, watching the eye. So it looks like it wants to open here. And you probably can't see anything. Maybe a touch on the camera shot there. Clearly this guy needs some TLC, but it's doing that right around 3. So I think, you know, judging from these tests, this was probably perfectly fine to carry on. Now let's find out about this big honker. Hopefully there's no. And this one's rated for a big whopping 450 working volts. Not just volts, working volts. It's a big capacitor, takes a long time to charge up. I opened all the way. Let's give it 250. I think it's going to come open. It's definitely not a terrible capacitor. Probably could have left this one in. Yeah, it's opened right up. So, you know, based on this test, based on this tester, I probably just wasting some time and effort here, but that's how it goes. Okay, let's get that other capacitor in there. Okay, so hey, back to today from yesterday. So I think the first thing to consider is real estate. The size of this capacitor is what has put it on top here. If they could have put it underneath, they would have, but they couldn't because of space problems. I'm gonna fit this guy. But this one, I stand a much better chance of fitting down here, and I'd rather do it this way. It's actually not convenient to put it on top, and it looks a little stupid up on top too. So there is a positive lead wire fed through to the top for the old capacitor. You pull that lead wire back down. Where is it? It's coming through a hole right in here. That would put this capacitor kind of inside this area. Is there any chance that they tried to position it outside of this strongly shielded area? Probably. Okay, pull that wire back and maybe stick the capacitor out here. It's a much more preferable location, I'm sure of that. A little close to this coil now. Well, you know what? It's looking more attractive back up on top again. So what I can do here, I can somehow kind of, I can probably crush this downwards, attach this in here somehow. I just have to connect the negative. This is the only decent ground terminal on the top here. So I could do it with a long ground wire. Try to do a short, so I'll try to do it like that. Okay, that is the plan. You know what, I should really do something about these too. These wires, how the power's been done. Somebody soldered these wires onto these two pins, and it doesn't look very good. In fact, I'm going to try to fix this up a little bit. First thing I'm going to do is cut them off. Hope that wasn't plugged in to stop, because this is going to break off, then I won't know what pin they came from. So cut them off for now. Fix them up in a moment. Good. Okay, let me get on with doing that stuff. Okay, I think there's nothing more exciting than watching shrink sleeve shrink. That's where I'm at. That blue piece down there. Let's shrink it. Look at that baby go. So this is the positive lead to the capacitor. Just right at the limit of my torch here. My hot air gun. Okay, so I don't think that's going to shrink more, but that's done the trick anyway. Got the whole positive line covered here. Okay. Now, whoops. There. So, next thing is we fix the capacitor in place here somehow. I haven't really quite figured that out yet. Pretty sure I can get there. I could potentially just fold this, just fold it this way and hope it retains some strength. You know, it's better if I just pinch, pinch, pinch. That's the better way of doing it. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Sounds good. Let's see if I can really do it. No, this is really quite stiff metal. Wow. Okay, so the pinching thing, I need a gargantuan tool, a powerhouse tool, like a channel lock. Or how about a robo grip? This is kind of a cool tool. I've had this for quite a while. It's self-adjusting. So if you put something in the grips, it locks and becomes it locks at the right size. Really cool. Robo grip, made in the USA, and here it is in Canada. Imagine that. How does that happen? How do we end up with American products in Canada? Well, this is ugly. This is an ugly deal here. Really ugly. Indeed. Do you know what? I just did it. I can't believe it. I just got it. It's actually held in there. It's up against the transformer here. Let me just see if I can bend it away from there. Yeah, that's not bad. I can't believe it. That was way back. Robo grip. The tool of the future. Okay, now all I gotta do is make this final connection here. And that's about done. Wow, that should be pretty good. That's if I can heat this up enough to solder it. So to do that, I'm going to try this other soldering iron again. I'm going to give this guy a try here. We'll see how it works out. I think I got to pick up the hello, soldering iron. Is it not plugged in? It is plugged in. Switch on the back, man. Shows you how often I've used this. Now if I shake it, now I turn it on. We're cooking now. Set to 350. We're not cooking quite yet. So my other soldering iron, the other one, which is up in the back here, is this big honking beast. This guy heats up really quick. This one, not quite so quick. I also found last time I used it, the chisel top wasn't very helpful for doing most of my work, but this big thing here, this might be just the just what the technician ordered. Okay, I think it's hot. Let's give it a go here. Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. Put that right there. Everybody pay attention now. Hot soldering iron on the bench. And what I'll do is, let's just check this out with a little bit of a close-up shot here. Doesn't that sound like fun? I would say so. Here we are. Let me just improve the focus if I can. Yeah. Okay, let's start heating that baby up. The little wires are heated up now. What about that big one? I gotta make good contact with the big center wire because it's being cooled off by the chassis rapidly. There. Now the whole thing is loose. That little piece of wire is actually just the remains of the last. Remains of the last. I think I'm going to throw a little solder down here if I can. Maybe I can't. Looks attractive on the video. I really don't like this tip. What was it intended for? Well, I'm a little happier. Okay, now did that go a little better than using my usual soldering iron? Hard to say, actually. Oh, I still got this wire to put back on. Let's take a look in here now at what I'm up against. So this is supposed to have a plug in it, of course, but the plug is missing. Okay, sit still. No, you're not listening. Okay, there we are. Oh, that's interesting. So a couple pins are soldered across. Now, probably in the plug that would be shoved in here, those pins are closed by the plug. So those short circuits you see in there would be created by shoving the plug in. And that's probably part of switching in the AC as opposed to the DC. Then probably, if you're going to run this off your car, you just have a different, same style plug, but a different wire differently, of course. I could play a guessing game all day here, but luckily, the proper ones for the AC power, right there. Now that's my soldering iron telling me it's about to pack it in. So, I could remove those entirely. I think that's a thing to do. Remove those entirely. Okay, I don't have a hot soldering iron handy at the moment, so here, let me just fix this too. Camera a little more stable here, so it won't do its own thing. Got it. What's all that beeping going on here? I thought my soldering iron shut off. It doesn't seem to have. I got meters beeping at me. I got the soldering iron beeping at me. Cats meowing at me. Guess we have a visiting cat here. was a mistake taking these off. I just cannot heat this up enough. Wow. Gotta get it off there now because it's in the way. Okay, let's try the other. Let's try the other guy. We'll find out if he's worth his weight. Worth his weight in solder. .351 degrees. Hey, got it off. Look at that. Came as a surprise. Okay. What do we got now? I got to put wires back on there. Well, I don't know what he was doing. I'm thinking he was trying to shove the wires down into the pin and solder them internally, which is a great way to go. Except how he ever managed to do that? Okay. My turn. Switch hands. So your strands have come loose on the other one. Oh, this is not going well. See, I should have left well enough alone again. I could have just strained. I should have examined it. Just strain relieved it. Oh, this is bad news here. This is not going to work. Oh, you know what I should? I should feed the wire into the radio and make the connection in behind instead of to these pins. Let's do that. Abandon all hope here. Abandon all hope, ye who go forth. I got the stupid thing soldered. Who's stupid, the radio or me? That's a bad move. Bad move. Ding, ding, ding. Right. Ring the bell. We're gonna abandon the shop because there's so much acrid smoke in here at the moment. Abandon shop, and I shall return.
Okay, I'm entering the space now. This is the area where I'm pretty sure the accident happened. Right in here. It looks like some kind of an electronic shop or something. Where the release was. It's right in here. Quickly check those levels. Danger! It's danger! I gotta run for it!
Okay, so reconnaissance team tells me it's safe in here again, so I'm back in here to do some work. Let's see about making that connection somewhere. First, I gotta get the wire through. There's a big hole here. That's a good spot, I think. I can bring the wire. The idea is we would bring it down through this hole here, like that, and it's coming. Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of stuff on the back of this connector. This is not easy either. Oh boy. Well, let's see. So it's this pin way, the worst spot, right up in the top there. And the other pin is this one, which is a lot more, it's right here, I think. It's a lot more accessible. So we have one very accessible pin. Now maybe the wire that comes from this pin in the radio goes somewhere that is accessible. Let's get in the back here and take a look. try this with autofocus. So, yeah. You know what? It could be this pin here. No. No, I think it's that black one down there. Oh, would one of these go straight to the chassis? Is that what that looks like? So black wire going right up into the connector. That's kind of weird. What's going on there? Wow, okay, so it looks like when they built this connector, they probably put it together outside of the radio with wire tails coming off, all designed ahead of time. And one of them is that black insulated wire that was designed. Why would they insulate one wire coming out of the back of this thing? Because that's one of the power wires. And then I think the other one is this fat red one. Or red one here. Let's see, where's this going? Right? That looks like really looks like the primary line to a transformer. You know what it is? It goes up to the on-off switch. That's where they're going. Up here, hold still. Gotta remember I've got autofocus on. So these two red wires, or those two red wires, are the on-off switch. And that's why it's connected here. So this is the switched, whoops, hold still. This is the switched wire, switched lead coming in rather. And you know what? That's a black insulated wire going into here. So that means the two power wires are black insulated leads coming out that have been connected to. One here and one down in there. It's very clear now. So I just need to make a connection here, which is easy. And then down in there, which is not easy. But I think I can do it. That's a lot of solder down there. Can you even see that? Hold still. Come on, camera, you can do it. There we go. Really tight down there. Okay. There lies the challenge. Let's see if I'm up to it. Okay, let's take a close look at what I've done in here. It's very, very difficult soldering in there. So first we'll look at this one. Oops, let's change cameras here. Should make it a little easier, and I'm going to fix the focus on it so it's not auto-adjusting anymore. This is the first one right here. A fair bit of the lead hanging out here. So you can kind of make a short there. These are the power leads, so I'm quite concerned about them. You can see, look at that capacitor down there. Look at the lead on it. Wow. Quite an opening. And it's cracked on that one too. So you know, this is the rough handling as you're building the equipment. Now here's the other terminal. Wow, can that really be sure there aren't any shorts in there? Looking at this with the camera. Wow. So the solder is spilling down the outside of the insulation of the black wire and getting really close to that other terminal there. That's what it looks like to me. There's also a wire that comes out just behind the black wire. Clearance is not very good. It's clear, but wow. So you can imagine if you're plugging something into the back of this, you're jamming it in there, wiggling around like crazy, trying to get it in. Maybe it's in your car in an awkward position. You'd be working. All these connections are getting worked. I think it's okay. just bend that one wire there. Do you see which one I mean? It's one of the ones in there. Let me just get a little tool here. I can go in and give it a little bend. Where'd it go now? Where'd you go? Ooh, these are stiff. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to bend that. That's a better view of it there. So I'm going to strain relief the cord so the cord will not tug on these connections. The cord will not move. Is that really a solder spill? No, you know what? I'm seeing the wire in behind, but still the clearance is very, very little. Fractional. Okay, so I'm going to put away the camera here. Get right in there. Oh, so really, really strong, solid wires there. There we go. Okay, so I just moved it like a millimeter or two just to increase the clearance. Okay, so we no longer have anything hanging out the back here. So I want the cord to come around, not go near that tube. Cord to come around like this. It's got to come out the back here. I bet you this edge is flush with this. Let's check it out. Let's see where we're getting. Where are we getting to here? Oop, maybe I better put in the output tube. I won't be talking to anybody in Alabama without that. So word is, by the way, that there are lots of Ontario skip shooters, I think maybe they're called. But most of that is happening on single sideband. This radio certainly can't do single sideband. That was a later feature of CB radios when you could get a little more power. The law allowed you to get a little more power. So what's going to happen here is this is going to get pinned under here. This is not a thin piece of metal here. Not by much. It's not going to work out as well as I'd hoped it would. I've got it soldered up and there's a plug on the end of this wire, so well, you know what, maybe there's a touch of clearance there, and I gotta really put this all the way in to find out. Yesterday when I put this on a little prematurely, I discovered that getting this on all the way, well, you know what, let's first fix the microphone cord. No, it's slammed down tight here. What are you going to do about that, Jim? What the heck are you going to do now? You've really boobed it up now. We'd have to come out through the socket somehow. Oh, I should have investigated this a little more at the start. I tighten this right down, it's just going to cut that wire right off there. It's just no clearance. What if I create clearance by cutting the chassis? Wow, what a hassle that is. Hacksaw, come on, that's crazy. What if I loosen off the socket and try to get it past? Then I got a loose socket on here. What does that matter? Don't know. can't do it anyway because I got the cord. I have to unsolder the plug. Don't want to do that. Coming out in a totally different place. Again, I got the plug on the end. It's not going to be coming out the same place as here. Who wants the power cord coming out the front? Pop a hole. You know, there's a possibility, but I got the plug on the end. But I could pop a hole. I could pop a hole, you know, like right in here. And then the cord would come out the side. Or I could drill out one of these holes. I could drill it out big enough for the cord to go through. And then the cord's coming right out the back. Drill it. Ah. So close. One solution creates another problem. So that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to drill out this hole, which is a spare hole. I believe these are probably it's probably another one that would come out here. This is probably what you're trying to, when you put this in your car. Trying to use this somehow? I don't know what this is. What is that? Okay. What is that there for? Does this thing get caught on? Oh, it's the cord. Jim. Whack my microphone there. Sorry about that. Right through. Now that's screw. Okay, so that screw is just a screw. Can you see it there? It's just a screw in the cabin. It's not doing anything. It's a good ground terminal. That's what that probably is. Probably a ground terminal. So I got to drill this guy out. That's great. I got a new drill for Christmas. So there'll be nothing to drill that out. What did I do with my drill? Okay, so I'm going to drill that hole out and put the cord through it and solder it all back up again. Holy smokes. Okay, you just have to solder them back once again. Okay, let's have another close look here. We'll see. There's a lot of wire hanging out there, but I don't think it's a problem. The other connection. Wow. Looks like I could add a ton of solder to that. Looked a lot better when I was doing it. Yeah, lots more solder on that one. Hopefully it won't pop off. Yeah, I can see better now. Sometimes when you see things in close-up, then when you look at them farther away, you sort of recognize them for what they actually are. So I'm trying to keep that wire in place with the soldering iron while I mop in lots of solder here. Okay. Good. I think that's good. Okay, now flip this guy up and over. Somehow my bench got all messed up again. Pull this through here. Okay, we want this to go around the there. Okay, I think we've reached that point where we're going to give it another test. I've got it connected to an outdoor antenna of some sort, some unknown sort. It's been beat up by the winter weather. RF power. And hey, big blast of stuff coming from the sun these days. Maybe that's going to trigger the sporadic E layer. Maybe I'm going to give a shout out to Alabama. Okay, so we're going to plug this in with restricted power, of course, having done so much to it. Okay, switching on. Good, got a good result on the lights. Let's start on channel 5. Squelch all the way down, so we should hear it. So that musical tony sound you hear in there, that's my furnace fan making that interference. We'll skip there. Generally, if there's no full power, let's go for full power. Nothing bad happening. Channel 13. Power. Okay. Not too much. SWR into what I'm doing. I can't even bring it up to the calibration line. I'm not sure what that means. Let's see if we make the red light flash there. XM43, there's no light flashing at all. Hello, hello. No light. I never checked that. Okay. So here's the plan with this radio. It's going to go on the shelf till the spring or the summer. And I will whip up some kind of antenna. I don't know what yet. I've got a couple of possibilities. And once I have the antenna whipped up, then I'll be able to do the final adjustment on the output of the output filter of this radio. And we'll be maxing out, and I'll be blasting into homes in Alabama. That's the plan. So this has been a great project so far. It's been a great project. A lot more than I expected. Really, I never saw myself investing in this any time or effort. I'm glad I did now. I've cut my teeth on a transmitter here a little bit. I have a couple more to take a look at, much more serious than this one. I guess not that this isn't serious. It's just not high power. Well, there we are. So the next thing I'm going to work on, I made a firm decision, is going to be my capacitor checker here. We're going to get it out. We're going to get that thing working properly, because I tend to use it a lot, and I'm not getting the best results out of it. I also have to glue this back on the back plate. There you are. Thanks for watching the series, and hope you enjoy your day like me. See you on the next video.